Hello class, right now we are going to do the patch pocket with flap. So just now we did patch pocket, so now we are adding the flap. Alright, as you can see the description, it says patch pocket with flap A. Alright, that means this is piece number 1. Alright, times 1 means you cut only one piece. So you see there's only one fabric that I cut. Okay, and here the dimension in you need to put fusing, so you don't have to do fusing. Okay, so here I'm going to teach you double fold. All right, so it's 4 cm. Remember, later we are going to fold 2 cm and 2 cm. All right, so you can actually mark it down. All right, like tracing it down with the tracing paper and also the wheel. Okay, tracing wheel. So yeah, we can do that later. Okay, tracing wheel. Okay, and then we put this aside first and we will see the second piece. So for the second piece, if you look at the description, it says patch pocket with flap B. So this whole thing is B. You have to cut 2. Alright, so you see 2, so you need to cut 2 pieces of the same. Alright, so I cut 2 pieces. Alright, and it mentions here fusing x1 means fusing you have to cut 1. So here I've prepared the fusing as well. Okay, wait a moment. So I've prepared the fusing as well. So as you can see, one side is shiny, this is the glue side. Okay, we're gonna stick it on this later. Okay, so before we go to this, maybe we can start tracing where we are going to have the folding. All right, remember to prepare an A4 size one as well, A4 size fabric as well. Okay, so now let me trace all the outlines. Okay, so that it will be easy for you to fold. When you're folding the curve area, make sure you have the curve, so you follow the curve. Right. Okay, so you can see I have my guidelines there. Alright, so when I'm folding, I'm going to fold according to the guideline. Okay, and then do my top stitch. Alright, so as I mentioned up here, we need to fold twice. Okay, let's iron this nicely first. We get a nice piece of fabric. Okay, and then now we have this. All right, so we fold 2 cm. Okay, and then we fold another 2 cm. Okay, and then we iron it. Let's iron this 2 cm first. Okay, and then we fold it. Okay, and then iron it again. Okay, we have our 2 cm, total 4 cm. So we need to do a top stitch up here, 0.1 cm top stitch. Okay, up at this fold. All right, so after we do our top stitch, let me fold everything and iron everything first, then I will do the top stitch. Okay, so I'm gonna fold this. I'm gonna begin from here. Okay, so as you can see the lines, I'm gonna do top stitch. Okay, so at the corner, be careful if you don't iron it curve, then it's going to be sharp. So we don't want any sharp ending, sharp edges. So we want to iron them carefully because I want curves. Okay, once you're done, so one side is okay. See, and it's still a little bit edgy, so I'm gonna re-iron this area. Alright. Okay, it is more curvier now. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here, I'm gonna iron here as well. Okay, and then same thing up to here. Alright, okay, once done. Alright, so now I'm going to bring this to my sewing machine, and I want to make sure that I iron this part, I sew this part first for the top stitch. Alright, for the top stitch, this is for the pocket. Let's see for the patch. Okay, let me prepare all this first before I bring everything to the under the sewing machine. Okay, now for our flap, okay, patch pocket flap. All right, so we have two. Okay, we cut two. Let's iron them nicely. Okay, once we have them ironed, this one, okay, this is the glue side. I put it on any one of it first. Okay, but if there's print, then you're supposed to put on the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, so I put this on the wrong side of the calico. I iron it, let it stick to the calico. Alright, once it's done, okay, I'm going to place right side of this fabric, right side facing right side. Alright, okay, and then I'm going to start sewing. Okay, and please bear in mind that for this pocket, alright, it's 1.5 cm seam allowance, 1.5 cm seam allowance, 1.5 cm seam allowance, 4 cm seam allowance, which we folded in all four sides. Okay, but for this flap, it's 1 cm seam allowance, 1 cm seam allowance. Okay, so the sewing part, we are going to attach this part with these two flaps together, right side facing the right side. We're going to attach these together. So where are we going to sew? All right, we are going to sew this shape, the D shape, the big D shape. All right, so I'm just going to pin this part up so that you guys can see. And how much is the seam allowance? 1 cm. According to your pattern, 1 cm seam allowance. Okay, so I'm gonna pin this 1 cm seam allowance. Okay, and I'm going to sew according to the seam allowance. Alright, so now I got my flap and I have got my patch pocket. So for my patch pocket, what am I going to do first? I'm going to do the top stitch here first. Alright, remember I did the double fold for the top. Okay, this part I did the double fold. Alright, so I need to do the top stitch for that first. Okay, then I will do this seam allowance for the flap. Okay, let's go to my machine. Okay, to my sewing machine. Alright, I'm going to do the top stitch for the pocket first. Okay, 1 2 3, let's go. Remember to do reverse stitch. Okay, once you're done, you can remove all the extra thread. Please remember to cut it off. And you have your, this is the front side, this is right side, and this is the wrong side where it's folded twice. Alright, now I'm going to put this pocket one side. Okay, I'm going to fold it back, and then I'm going to put this pocket on one side while I sew the flap. Okay, remember just now I pinned my flap. How many cm did I mention? Seam allowance 1 cm, correct? So 1 cm means it's here. Okay, so I'm going to start sewing 1 cm. Okay, remember I mentioned the A4 size, alright, and as I mentioned, this patch pocket is done, you know. I folded twice, you know, did the top stitch, and then you see there's folding marks that I've made. Okay, all these folding marks, so they have been beautifully folded. Okay, now I'm beautifully arranging them above my fabric. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to find a place to place the pocket, correct? So as I mentioned before, 2 inch from the bottom of the fabric, 2 inch. Okay, this is where I want my fabric to be placed. I find the center point. Okay, you guys do the calculation. Alright, I find the center point, and then I'm going to place my fabric, my pocket here. Maybe it's too to the left. I'm going to move it to the right a bit. Okay, I'm going to move it to the right. Yep, I think it's fine now. Alright, so I have this point. Okay, and then that. So you can do the marking using your chalk. Okay. Okay, please mark the position using chalk. For me, I'm just going to use the pins to pin it. Alright. For this, you won't be needing to do the triangle one, because we are going to do double stitch. Okay, double top stitch. So let me complete this first. We're gonna pin. Okay, now I'm going to put this under the sewing machine, and I'm going to do double stitch, top stitch, 2 top stitch. Okay, I'll show you guys how. Okay, I'm still gonna start sewing 0.1 cm away top stitch at the side first. Okay, so let's go 1 2 3 1 2. Remember to do a stitch. Okay, and then just continue. And then I turn it in with the foot down, okay, and then I'm going to go in maybe 1 and 2. All right, put like 0.4 cm, like like 0.2 cm. Okay, I'm gonna start sewing. Remember to do reverse stitch and you're done. Okay, so basically when you're done, this is what you get for the pocket. All right, so you see this, the top here, okay, it's like you sew and then you come back and then you end at the place you started. Okay, so the back will look like this though. Okay, all right, now we're going to attach the patch to the top. How are we going to attach the patch to the top? All right, now we have this mark. All right, we are going to mark 1.5 cm. All right, here 1.5 cm I've marked. Okay, from this fabric edge. Okay, 1.5 cm. I'm going to use a pencil. All right, I'm going to use a pencil, and here as well 1.5 cm with a pencil. Okay, so that's where my flap will be at. Okay, let's put this one side and get our flap. Remember just now we sewed the flap. Okay, so right now we are going to flip the flap inside. Okay, but before we do that, you know what we have to do whenever we are at the curve, right? So we are going to snip opened in a V shape. So as I mentioned, when you go to the straight area, you don't need to snip. You only need to do a lot of snipping at the curve area. When it comes to the straight, you don't have to. I'm going to do another snipping on this area. Okay, once I have this, I'm going to flip it over. And when I flip it over, I'm going to push everything properly. Okay, please view my video. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. Okay, and then I'm going to iron them. I need to flip it over, I need to push everything, I need to maintain the curve. Okay, once I have everything, okay, and I'm going to iron this piece. Okay, I'm ironing. All right, ironing. Okay, once I'm done ironing, what am I going to do now? I'm going to do the top stitch. All right, and same top stitch that I did for this. All right, so there will be double lines. Okay, so I'm gonna start from somewhere. Okay, and then I'm going to show you guys. Let's go to the machine. Okay, first we will sew 0.1 cm first. Okay, 1 2 3. Okay, 0.1 cm. Remember reverse stitch. Let's go. Okay, now I have my first top stitch. Now I'm gonna go for my second one. All right, I'm gonna cut off this thread. Okay, let's go for the second one, which is going to be like 0.2 cm apart from this line. Okay, okay, so when you're done, you'll have something like this. Okay, see, I've already done this. Okay, so remember just now I marked 1.5 cm. Okay, so basically we will be placing this, 1.5 cm, and remember we have 1 cm seam allowance at the bottom here. Usually we will need to do overlock, but since we all don't have overlock machine, so we are just going to make sure we cut it clean. Okay, means like there's no like extra threads coming out and all. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut it neat, right? And then let's fold 1 cm seam allowance. Okay, I've already marked my seam allowance, so I'm just gonna fold it and iron it. Okay, fold it and iron it. Okay, so once I'm done folding and ironing it, I'm going to place this above. Make sure it's centralized, yeah. Okay, I'm going to place this on that 1.5 cm here. Okay, and I'm going to make sure this is in the center. Is it in the center? Yeah, I think it's in the center. That's my one marked point. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pin and I am going to pin it up. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing, the top stitch up here, the 0.1 cm, and then go back and then do the stitch again. Okay, let's go to my machine. I'll show you guys. Let's start sewing 0.1 cm. Okay, very thick. All right, okay, now I want to do my reverse stitch. Go back to the front, 0.1 cm, yeah. Once you reach this corner, okay, needles down, move. Okay, and then I'm going to do 2 stitch, 1 2, right. Now turn it around. Let me remove my pin. Turn it around. Okay, let's go. Okay, and then remember to go back up, seal the deal, do the reverse stitch, then we are done. Okay, now let's remove it and see. Alright class, if you can see, this is my patch pocket with flap. Alright, so when I open up, ta-da! Okay, alright, when I open, it's like that. Okay, alright class, the back is like that. Sorry, I have excessive threads, I didn't cut it off. Okay, and the front is like that. Alright, so once you're done, remember to label it as patch pocket with flap down here. Alright, that's it for patch pocket with flap.